So there's potatoes and vegetable oil and salt are the three main ingredients. But in the vegetable oil, there's hydrogenated soybean oil, natural beef flavor with wheat and milk derivatives, citric acid, dextrose, sodium acid, 5-phosphate, and dimethyl polycyclone and salt. Can't read all of them. And then so that's what's in the French fry. And then they're prepared in, once they arrive at the restaurant, they're prepared in another vegetable oil that contains canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, and another list of things. And that depends on the market and what's cheapest at that point, so it's one of those. And then in the ketchup, there's tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup, water, corn syrup, salt, and natural flavors. So this was all available on the website, all the ingredients to everything. One interesting thing was that until recently, it didn't have it marked that there were milk and wheat derivatives in there. And when we looked stuff up on the web, there was a lot of information on a lot of problems McDonald's has been having with people who were really angry when they found out, because people with allergies had been getting sick. So that was kind of the repercussions of it. And also there was a lot of information on trans fat that's in the oils that they've tried to phase out. And in European McDonald's, they don't use trans fat oil anymore, but it's still being used in the U.S. And then another big part of the McDonald's food chain is the processing plant. So the potatoes are grown, but then they're cut up, everything, they're packaged, everything is done in a processing plant. And J.R. Simplot is one of the main suppliers of McDonald's French fries and has been for years. There's two other main suppliers. And they have 10,000 workers in the U.S., Canada, China, Mexico, and Australia, and supply 3 billion pounds of potatoes. And they grow one specific kind of potato called the russet Burbank. And actually, a lot of them are kind of discarded during the process because they don't want any potatoes with brown spots or anything. So they like them to be matches. So that was, and then we just have pictures here of what the French fries look like. And Jeff will explain about Sparky's, we kind of wanted to see a comparison in terms of what they look like and what goes into them.
So this is Sparky's restaurant. It's located in Northampton, which is right down the street. It's a really cool little eatery place, overhead menu. It sort of doesn't stand out in any major way, and I just sort of stumbled upon it one night when I was really, really hungry. And so they're based out of New York originally, but they moved to Northampton recently, and they have on their menu, they have a sort of a list of, it's almost like a mission statement, but it's also just the goal, the ways that they get their food, and these things include locally raised, grass-fed, humanely treated beef, chicken, and pork with no hormones or antibiotic. So the food, the French fries in particular, these are pictures of them. They're really, really good. And they have 3, I think, ingredients. They potatoes, a mixture of corn oil and canola oil with no trans fats and salt. And then they have their own homemade ketchup, which is tomatoes, onion, sugar, water, and cider vinegar. The potatoes specifically that they use come from Sheldon Farms, which is located in Salem, New York. It's a family-owned farm that grows potatoes, sweet corn, and does a lot of local syrup. It's a 600-acre farm with 250 acres in production. The distance traveled and the path that it takes for a potato to get is the journey of a Sparky's French fry. And so this is a picture of the beautiful Sheldon Farms in Salem, New York. And this is Albert Sheldon and his wife, 2 beautiful farmers. And so that's in Salem, New York, at which point a truck from Black River Produce in North Springfield, Vermont, comes and picks it up. They have workers that load the potatoes, in this instant, onto the truck, and the truck brings it to North Springfield. That's a trip of 63 miles. At that point, it's stored for anywhere up to 3 weeks, they said, at which point Sparky's calls Black River Produce anytime between Monday and Saturday, and they get next day delivery from North Springfield, Vermont. They put it on their truck 80 miles down to Northampton, Mass, at which point it's unloaded as a whole potato. They use chef potatoes, that's the variety they use. And the way Sparky's cooks the French fry is they take the potatoes, they cut it, and they will soak, they do a big batch at the beginning of every day of 2 to 3 minutes where they cook them all, and that sort of softens them up. And then as you order the French fries, they'll recook them for 4 to 5 minutes, and this allows for the french fries to get crispy, to not go from like directly frozen to in the fryer, and it makes for a crispier, tastier french fry. And so that whole trip from this farm up here where the potato is grown and picked, down to Sparky's where you eat these french fries, is 143 miles. That's how far that potato traveled.
Donald's trip is not quite as simple. It's a little bit more difficult. First, start off as little potatoes growing in a huge building with many other little tiny potatoes. And after they get to a certain size, they are shipped by truck. This McSeed farm is in Montana. 630 miles to Washington State. Yeah. And they're put there on the potato farm where they're grown, of course. And we'll get into the growing techniques a little bit later. But after they're shipped to the potato farm and they're grown there, they take their trip 1,390 miles up into Canada to one of J.R. Simplot's processing plants. There they have pretty much everything that's done to them except the frying in the store. They're put into packages and shipped out to be kept at a certain temperature. This is pretty much where all the work is done. A side note from the flavor that's so delicious about French fries actually comes from New Jersey, so this is not included in our total. The 1,695 miles that Lewis Chemicals travel also go up to Canada to be put into the French fries before they're put into a plastic bag. And then so from this processing plant, then they're shipped back out, in our case, 1,827 miles to Amherst, or Hadley rather, where the McDonald's is. Let me see the McDonald's on route. Well, I'll just tell a little story then. My friend, I came back after I'd weighed the potatoes out, the French fries, sorry, and put them on plates, and I took away all the things that would show which is which. There's just 2 identical plates of French fries. And I asked my friend in the other room, who was always hungry, that, hey, there's some French fries, do you want to eat them? And I said, oh, great. So he jumps up out of his chair watching TV and runs into the kitchen. And he stops because there's 2 plates of French fries. And they look different, one's got skin and stuff, and one's perfect, straight McDonald's French fries. And he said, oh, which ones? Oh, either one. And so he pauses for another second, and grabs a big handful of McDonald's French fries and runs into the other room to eat. I was watching TV.